What's going on, guys? We're out here working on the square nose today. Last video, we got this thing running. I actually posted that video yesterday. Got it all good to go. I'll insert a clip. I got all three of these skis running. But yeah, it's running great. Got the carbs synced up. But today, since we have this B pipe, and well, the head doesn't have to do with jetting, but since we got a B pipe in the ski now from the stock pipe, we have to put 135 main jets in these carbs, so we got to pull them out. So that's what we're going to be doing today. As you can see, it's a total rat nest in here. And I'm also going to be trying to flip this E-box upside down, because when I initially put it together, I made it so like how it was in the Wave Raider, so the warning label was reading up and down correctly. Well, all the cords are all tangled up and it looks horrible. So I'm going to try and flip that around and try and make these cables so they route off the top like it's supposed to. Just clean it up a little bit. We'll see how that goes though, but keep you guys posted on it. Another thing, that's kinked pretty bad, so I'm gonna have to cut that down a little bit. But all right, we're gonna get to it. It's probably gonna take me a little while. Got the cover off, and holy crap, look at that. What in the heck happened here? I mean, for those of you that cannot tell, we use this flathead here. This enormous groove here is not supposed to be there. Here either. That's supposed to be a Phillips head screw in both those holes. Now, why in the world would somebody have been in this before? I mean, yeah, it's super dirty. I cannot believe how dirty it was for how good it was running. But I cannot believe that somebody was inside of this engine, considering when I got it, it was bone stock in a Wave Raider, and I was the first person to basically tear into it. I mean, holy crap. I might have to replace these. We'll see. Hopefully I can even get them out. Whew. We'll see how that goes. That makes me curious to see what it looks like under this one. Whew. All right, on to my second carb. For anybody wondering how you're going to do this, so you're going to pull this top panel off here. This is what you're going to have. Panel and the diaphragm. This is generally not stuck to the panel, but it is in my case. Most of the time, this will still be on here. And make sure that you have it so that this nipple is facing down when you put it back together, because that is what rides on this and gives you fuel, opens up your needle and everything. Okay, so as you can see, can't see any jets or anything in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your Phillips, you're going to loosen these screws here, you're going to pull them out, and then you're going to pop out your, I don't know, some people call them like a kidney, whatever you want to call it, but you want to try and keep this stuff clean. So I'm going to be wiping it off before I put it back together. So this is very interesting because this side has a 130 main jet and this side had a 120. So I cannot believe that I had never noticed that when doing a plug chop. Let's see if I get that to focus. Yeah, 120. So that tells me that probably plugged up the jet. They went to go clean the carbs, screwed this side up. Never screwed this side up because, I mean, you can see he was never in this side. He was in this one. Either this carb didn't go to the ski and somebody had screwed with it at some point within the 25 years that the ski's been around, or he just decided that this carb was plugged, but this one wasn't. And that also tells me all of these like high and low screws and everything are going to be completely screwed. So I'm going to have to go right to Taylor Curtis's video and figure out what I need to do. I think it's like 1 1/4 on the low, 1 turn out on the high, something like that. But I'm going to get that and let you know what I end up doing. We'll get this ski fired up, see how she runs. Got the carbs all set up, good to go, all cleaned up. We started kind of disassembling some things here. So I got the bilge pump out. Don't mind that enormous ass drill bit. So we got the bilge pump out. This is a total wreck. I kind of built, when I put this ski together, I kind of just did it super quickly so I could ride it. But got to figure out what I want to do with this because we're not using the temperature system. Which I am going to mount the e-box this way. Instead, all the cords will be routed right. Nothing's going to be all tangled up over the mid shaft. It's going to be 10 times better. We're going to clean up all these fuel lines, just kind of get it nice and tidy. Because this ski, I want to be somewhat nice and easy for me to be able to see what's going on. Because this ski is going to be really the one that's taking the pounding. So this one I'm kind of going to be a little bit more, well, I wouldn't say a little bit more, but I'm particular with all my skis. It's just this one I have to try and make it really easy. As little wires as possible. And if I need to get into some wires, I want to be able to do it easily without a million different like hose clamps and stuff like that. So I'm just going to kind of try and run everything in the same direction, right up. Real nice and easy. Everything will be right there. But time to get that midshaft cover off. We're going to clean this hull up. Clean off all that junk epoxy. Glue that bilge down. And we are also going to relocate that. Because I do not know who put that bilge fitting there. But that is awful. Because when this ski floats in the water, it is taking on water through the bilge hole. So I am going to relocate it to here, where it is supposed to be, which is where I put it on my round nose. Right there. It is awesome. 10 times better. You can get to it super easy. Well, it doesn't look that easy because I have everything covered up with this big stuff. But, I mean, you can see on this ski how easy that'll be to get to. I mean, it's just wide open right here. So I'm going to drill that out. We're going to fill this hole. But, of course, we're going to have to throw the carbs on this thing and start it. Before we do that, we're also going to take the choke out because I never use it anyways. Never even had a handle on it. But, yeah, we're going to have to fire this thing up before we do anything else. Because, I mean, worst comes to worst, I could always just... Because this could be used for something else if I ever wanted to. So I'll probably end up leaving that hole there. Maybe I'll fill it in, maybe I won't. But I do have a wrap going over it. So, you know, it is what it is. But, all right, we're going to get going on this thing. We're going to drill a hole in this ski. We'll be good to go. We'll get gluing this bilge pump down in here. Should be ready to fire this thing up pretty soon here. Got it all sanded down here. So I feel like I'm probably going to end up routing it like I did on my round nose, where I have the bilge pump here and then the outlet of the pump going this way, and it'll come up and over the e-box and then out. I found that to be a pretty awesome way to do it. It works really well on this one. I glued this one down last year, and it's still holding in there strong, no wiggle or anything like that. And when you also do it like that with these bilge pumps that I have, you can actually, the coupler cover actually helps hold the bilge pump down as well. So if you're jumping it and stuff like that, it's not shaking the bilge pump like crazy. I actually had to do a small little notch on the front side of the coupler cover so the bilge pump would sit in there right. But it works well. So just figured I'd note that. And one other thing, when you are gluing these down, you really need to make sure that these are very, very rough. And no, I did not use sandpaper on this. This is the same technique that I used on that one, and I've had great luck with. It has not come off. Eventually, yes, I'm going to get bilge pump brackets for both these skis. But for now, this is what I'm going to run. So now the way I did this is I just take a good old razor blade and I just go like this a million times this way and then do it this way. Good to go. And then for the actual resin or glue that I use, I actually do not have any at the moment. Well, I have some, but I do not have hardener. So we will walk over here. This is generally what I use. I just picked it up at the good old Browns. And I take that, I'll mix some of that up, and then I will grab some standard fiberglass mesh, and I will cut it up into small strands, and I mix it in with the resin. And that seems to do a really, really good job of holding that down. So I'm going to have to run out and get some of that. So we'll probably end up continuing this video another time. But you guys, of course, aren't going to be able to tell that. So you'll see in a second when we put this thing together. All right. We are back in the garage here. Got the carbs all installed on this thing. New base gasket. 135 main jets, and I set it to what Taylor Curtis said. So low speed, 1 turnout, and high speed, 1 1/4 turnout on both. Actually, I have that backwards. High speed was 1 turnout. I shouldn't even be starting this because I have that kind of sitting down there glued, but you know, it is what it is. We're going to try it anyways. So we have the E-box out. I don't feel like putting it back in there for a first start, but here we go. Let's see how this thing runs with the new jets in it. Motor's not even warm yet. Yeah, it seems to run pretty good. We're gonna have to get this thing out on the water, really test it out. I'm gonna also have to make sure that's still stuck down. We've got some exhaust fumes inside of the engine bay from somewhere. I am willing to bet that it is from the hole here. It's coming back in. So, at least that's the hopes. I do have an extra one of these exhaust tubes if I poked it, because I hope I didn't poke it when using this in there to tighten them. Let's hope I didn't, but if I did, I'll have to replace it. But yeah, it seems to run pretty good. It's probably going to need some tweaking, but, you know, is what it is. And also, one other side note before we end this video off, I had a person contact me and ask me how I did my round nose pull swap with the factory bracket. So, I had to cut that tab off here And then I drilled out new holes. These are all new holes for this. This was an original hole for the factory bracket, and this one was as well. I utilized the other one for the square nose hood mounts. These are actually the factory ones that come bolted to the square nose pull bracket. I just took them off, put a nut on there, screwed it in, and did the same thing on the other side. And then I made a bracket for the bottom that is about the same size as the factory square nose one. So that's all I had to do there. Only thing about it that I'll show you is this is all the way up on the pole. So you can't go any higher than that. But other than that, oh, I also had to cut the factory square nose pull here and just kind of put notches in it. And then put the nut on the end to be good. You can buy a round nose one, you should. I just did this because I had it, wanted to put together, and it seems to work fine. So I just been running it. But anyways, thanks for watching.